After a fun race last week where Carl Burt picked up his first race win, we are here in the great state of Delaware, and we are at the Monster Mile, otherwise known as Dover Dover Raceway, Speedway, I don't know. Anyway, here we are for the next round of the Western States Racing League. My name is Sam Cooper-Bennett in the booth with you for ESPN, the Esports Broadcasting Network, and joining me again is that man himself, Mr. Frank Marchese, and a new week here, Frank, and it's going to get a bit spooky this week for these guys.
Yeah, it certainly is. We're coming down to coming closer to Halloween. I believe we have a broadcast on Halloween coming up later this week, but this is a scary enough track. High banking, high speed, very narrow, big risk, big reward out of this track. Dover International Speedway here is this is going to be a really fun race, a big turnout, which just means a lot of competitive guys and a lot of fun racing.
I'm glad you got the track right, because I'm just absolutely bummed it. But anyway, we are under qualifying conditions right now. Marty Ray, the first driver out on track right now. Let's go and see what he can put down in the number 65 race winner already this season. Let's see what he can do. And Frank, he's going to be another man that's going to be pretty desperate for a win, even though he's already got one this season.
Yeah, we're coming down towards the end of the season, and he's up, I believe, he's up towards the top of the standings, like in that top 5 range. I just looked at it a second ago. But yeah, definitely wanting to close down that gap to the lead, because I believe we only have 6 races left in this season, so every point really starting to matter.
That it is, as the new driver William Barbagaletta going to the top of the board. Marty Ray going up to second place in this session. Chad Barker into third. Anthony Erskine just been displaced by Wayne Hutchison. You see Hutchison right there on his second lap, and time's coming in thick and fast here. The one we've got to focus on is the one we've been focusing on for the last few weeks now, Frank, and it's the battle between Bryan Barns and Bob Beltrami. It is really getting heated up now.
Yeah, it's been really close for the last couple of weeks. Only 1 point gained by Bryan Barns last week. Barnes trying to go for his third consecutive Tuesday night championship. Again, they run on this series runs on Tuesday and Friday. Barnes trying to go for his third consecutive Tuesday night title, as they're trying to match the run that he actually broke from the man on track right now, Bob Beltrami, who had won 6 Tuesday night championships in a row, swept from 2016 all the way through 2018. That's 2 championships a year. So trying to get that momentum going, and again has that 8-point lead coming down to it.
And we're focused on Bob Beltrami now, as he's just crossed the line, 22.306. That is going to put him up to P3. Good qualifying time for him. Not seen Bryan Barnes out on track yet. We should see him very soon. Still 7 minutes left in qualifying as Beltrami slows things down. He is done for his qualifying session. Going to go on board with Ron Holyfield now as he makes his way through turn 2 on his first qualifying lap. Let's see what he can put down. Actually, this is his second qualifying lap. I apologize, as he makes his way through 3 and 4. And crosses the line at 22.475. That is good enough for, well, I think he actually equaled his time from the first one, so he didn't go anywhere. He stays where he is.
Yeah, just 0.04 thousandths of a second quicker on the second lap, and he's not going to be happy with that result. He did a 22.332 in the practice session, so he's about 1/10 off of what he ran in practice now going into qualifying.
Yeah, Dennis Fuson now, one of the drivers in the top 5 in the championship, was very close to getting his first race win of the season last week. Unfortunately, it came to a very sudden end after a late race crash. Hopefully that doesn't affect him this time around, as he's on his second qualifying lap. His first one put him into P8. Let's see where this one's going to put him right now as he comes out of turn 4. Down across the line, a 22.549. A second time around, not so fast. We're going to go to Gary Laviolette in the Sarge's place, number 86. Let's see what he can do right here, Frank.
Yep, starting his first lap. And I've seen a couple of mistakes on that lap from Fuson. I think what really put him out was he did clip the apron coming out of turn 4 right before he started to wash back up the hill. I think that put him out. And I think Laviolette just did the same exact thing as he completes his first lap. It's a 22.610, which puts him 13th. Now, this is a track where you've got to really pin it down to the bottom, attack that bottom, use your speed, use that momentum. This is a very, very fast racetrack if you're running it properly.
Yeah, and we are with we were with Bryan Barns, and there he is up into 3rd place. Great time for him, and that's going to help him with his battle with Bob Beltrami. And as things stand right now, they're going to be starting on the 2nd row because Jeff Hollingsworth just came out of nowhere and stole the pole.
Yep, Hollingsworth is a 269. That was a little bit quicker than what he managed to do in practice, as we're just a little over halfway through this qualifying session. Still a decent amount of guys have not qualified, as David Wood is on track right now, just plugging away lap times.
Yep, as he slows things down now.
Yep, trying to practice pit entry. This is a very, very difficult racetrack to get right. We were talking about it off air. The track is so narrow that if there's an accident, especially on the back straightaway, it's going to clog up the whole racetrack. And the pit entry, the commitment cone for pit entry, is almost in the middle of the corner, and you got to go from 250 going into turn 3 down to 35 miles an hour. This is a very difficult pit road to get into, as Gary Laviolette just proved.
Yep, as here comes last week's race winner Carl Burke, just making his way out of pit road. I'm just going to make a bit of a camera adjustment here. So I apologize for a second, because that is bugging me. So just bear with me 1 second. Just call Carl back for a second there, Frank.
As Carl heads out of turn 4 to complete his first lap. Well, to start his first lap, pardon me. And one a little bit high in the middle of 1 and 2. Nothing too crazy. Not seeing really anyone attack that exit, getting really close to the turn 2 and turn 4 walls on exit. They're respecting those barriers, as Burke with a 22.409 on his first lap, good enough for 9th position. That's what Burke can do here. Still about a half a lane up off the bottom, and this lap will be even quicker. It'll bump him up to 5th, the 22.317 for the driver of the 53.
Yeah, sorry for missing that one. Just had to adjust that camera. It was really, really getting on my nerves. Jeff Schmeier out on track in the Halloween number 22. Good to see someone out there sporting a Halloween scheme, at least here, as he comes out of turn 2. I think his qualifying run might be done. He goes up to P6.
Yep.
So we're still waiting for Dan Stussy, Wayne Fleet, Barry Phil, Keith Kelman, Bentley Glazer, Eric Woods, Ray Fournier, and Jeffrey Schloss. Now, Bentley Glazer, we're not really expecting him to come out because he usually likes to start at the back anyway, but starting at the back here, that might be a bit more of a difficult task there for the man in the 87.
Yeah, because it is such a narrow racetrack, and the inside line is really where you want to be. And Glazer was the second quickest in practice. He set a 22.260. Bryan Barns was the only one that was quicker than him at a 2.43. So he knows he has a quick car, does Bentley Glazer, but still starting in the back, that's a real gamble around this place.
That it is, as we're still waiting for drivers to come out. I don't think we're going to get any more drivers coming out because we've got about 40 seconds left in qualifying. So we are just waiting this thing out until the start of the race, and it is going to be a good one here. Dover always puts on a good show. As we take a little look around the track, that's through through 3 and 4. Sorry, I like the scenic cameras around here. They really show off the track a lot. As we see Miles the Monster right there. There's Miles. Hello, Miles. Hope you're not scaring too many people on this Halloween week.
See how many cars he can claim.
Yeah.
Today, I'm sure there's going to be a decent amount. I think.
I'm pretty sure he'll want a new car other than that Dodge he's carrying all the time.
Yeah, well, this is actually one of the tracks that got remodeled by by iRacing not that long ago. Back in April, I believe, this track got a facelift from what it used to have on the iRacing service, and that's because the NASCAR drivers ran those races, the virtual races that they did before they got back in the car. The first one was here at Dover, so they needed to appease the sponsors, and ergo Dover got a facelift.
Absolutely. As on that bombshell, we're going to go straight to the grid for tonight's race, and Jeff Hollingsworth starting up on the pole with William Barbagaletta starting up on that front row with him. Bryan Barns will be on the second row with his championship rival Bob Beltrami alongside him. Row 3 will be last week's winner Carl Burke and Jeff Schmeier. Row 4 will be Charles Woods and Wayne Hutchison. Row 5 will be Brandon Prone and Marty Ray. Row 6 will be Dennis Fuson and Chad Barker. Row 7 will be Ron Holyfield and Paul Hoffman, Frank.
Yep. Gary Laviolette and David Weaver will make up row 8. Row 9 will be David Wood and Anthony Erskine. Row 10 will be Dustin Barnes and James Campbell. Rob Gall, the last driver to set a time starting in 21st. Bentley Glazer will round out the 11th row. Ray Fortier and Keith Kellman on row 12. Row 13 will be Barry Phil and Jeffrey Schloss. Yes.
Schloss.
Yeah, there you go. Schloss. Sorry, new driver. Row 14 will be Eric Woods and Wayne Fleet, with Dan Stussy rounding out the field in the 29th position.
So that is your qualifying order for this race here at Dover. We are ready to go racing here, and it is going to be, as I've already mentioned, a absolute barn burner here. As if we haven't had many barn burners before in this series.
Was it the last 2 races we've had in this series have come down to, I think, just a little bit over 100th of a second.
Yeah.
The finishing time. So we've had quite a run of finishes, not just here, but in all of our series that we broadcast.
Yeah, as we are going through 3 and 4, pace truck is off. We are ready to go for 160 laps of racing here at Dover. The Monster Mile is go, as we are green flag racing, and Jeff Hollingsworth really going for it at the start as he just powers his way to the front and has already started checking out a bit of a gap there, Frank.
Yeah, great start for the driver of the 97 Coast Guard machine. As a little bit further back, Bob Beltrami able to work that outside as, oh boy, Jeff Schmeier also trying to work that outside on Bryan Barns, is able to make the pass on the 4 of Bryan Barns. So Barnes falling from 3rd to 5th right off the bat.
Yeah, and William Barbagaletta is in 2nd place, but about 3 car lengths back from Jeff Hollingsworth. Bryan Barnes, as you mentioned, has fallen back to P5. Might be a strategy call there by the championship leader, but we don't know, as he does have Carl Burke right behind him. Wayne Hutchison in P7, Charles Woods in P8, Marty Ray in P9. And then Brandon Prone on his debut here tonight in that last spot in the top 10. But at the moment, it's Jeff Hollingsworth leading. But look at Bob Aguilata. He's starting to catch up to him now.
Yeah, Barb Aguilata also a debutant here tonight to go along with Brandon Prone in the 32, and I believe James Campbell in the 12. Those three are making their debuts here tonight, and Barb Aguilata really showing, I am here, as he is right on the back of Hollingsworth now after getting that bad start.
Now that Interstate Batteries number 51 really putting on a show already here tonight, and that camera still hasn't changed. I'm going to have to change that again later on. But that's Jeff Schmeier in P3, as he's just got around Bob Beltrami, who's dropped back to P4. But he's still ahead, crucially, of his championship rival, Bryan Barns. Now, these two, the most winningest drivers in the league's history. Beltrami going on 6 straight championship wins. Barnes is looking for his 3rd. So, two legendary drivers in this league.
Yeah, and these guys have won, those two, the 14 and the 4, have won every single championship from the spring of 2016 on Tuesday night. So these guys have reigned supreme in the midweek, and they're battling for supremacy. Again, just 8 points separating those two at the top of the championship.
As we go back to the battle for the lead here, Jeff Hollingsworth still leading this thing with Bob Aguilata in 2nd place and still sticking to his tail. For a second there, we thought Hollingsworth was going to get away. It just has not been the case so far as they come towards turn 3, and Bob Aguilata is still right there. Let's go to the other debutant here tonight. That is James Campbell in that iRacing F-150. He is just taking it easy right now, back in P26, just having a bit of a smooth run right now.
Yeah, he's got a lagging car up at the front in front of him, and I thought it was our usual suspect, and that would be Bentley Glazer, but it looks as though he's clear, so somebody else blinking quite a bit towards the back of this field, putting up a lot of smoke, trying to confuse us.
As we go back to the front again, and look at Bob Aguilata again. He's looking for that inside line on Jeff Hollingsworth. He's going to force his way down there. Hollingsworth's going to have to give way. Bob Aguilata is your new leader as they come flying out of turn 4.
That was a great move, and that's something you have to do with these trucks, is you have to be aggressive, and that's exactly what William Barb Aguilata was there. Aggressive, getting down to that inside line first. This early in the race, Hollingsworth is a smart driver, veteran driver. We've seen him run so many different disciplines of racing here on ESPN. He knows now is not the time to be putting up big fights.
No, and they're already 1.3 seconds ahead of Jeff Schmeier. Schmeier not exactly pushing the issue right now, just happy to ride where he is in that 3rd spot. And he's another man that's been showing a lot of great form this season. He's already got a race win by a hair. He stole it at Pocono, but still it's a race win regardless, and has really put himself up there in the championship fight. Question is, can he get any closer to Barnes and Beltrami this late in the season?
I think he has a chance if he could stay consistent. I think he does have a chance. And speaking of Barnes, he as well as Carl Burke have gotten around Bob Beltrami, so those guys now in the 4th and 5th positions, Beltrami down to 6th, as that big group behind them, led by Wayne Hutchinson, still is right on top of each other. Charles Woods in that number 40 United States Postal Service, I believe it's Chevrolet it is, now leading that band of drivers.
Yeah, he's got Ron Holyfield behind him, as well as Brandon Prone. Dennis Fuson is right up there, and Marty Ray is there as well. Ray currently sitting 3rd in points, not going to be happy with where he is right now. Might want to move up a few more spots if he does want to challenge, as we see Ron Holyfield putting Charles Woods under a lot of pressure. Woods going to run it wide, and that's going to let not 1 but 2, maybe 3 trucks through there as they come flying out of turn 4, and Charles Woods going to lose a lot of ground there. We've got 1 in pit road right now. I can't see who that is.
Ducey, I believe.
Yes, it is. It's Dan Stussy, and he's got quite considerable bit of damage as well on his truck.
Yeah, looking back, I'm going to try to look back and find out what happened there to that number 78. As it looks as though he just...
Oh, Bob Aglatter's in the wall! Big hit into the wall out of 2. That's let Jeff Hollingsworth through. Sorry to cut you off there, Frank, but Bob Agalatta has got some pretty serious damage on the right front of that truck now.
And just looking back at it, we've seen it so many times before. Guys just trying to push it too hard coming out of turn 2. That's a very dangerous place to be pushing. And Bob Agalatta, he's going to run right into the back of Jeff Hollingsworth there as the 12 of Campbell just really slow.
Yeah, it doesn't take long to catch up to lap traffic here, and you're seeing an example of it right now. Campbell just getting in the way. Bob Agalatta had nowhere to go, and it's very close between the 51 and the 12 right now as they come out of turn 2. Campbell just getting in the way of the leaders, and I'm pretty sure it's not intentional, but they're coming up on him so fast that he just doesn't know what to do right there.
The ESPN Moving Chicane of the Race Award as of this point. But that was a huge hit that Jeff Hollingsworth took, and you can see the damage on the right rear from where Bob Agalatta hit him, and the damage on the back end of the 12, that's not from Hollingsworth, that's from Dan Stussy hitting him. So I got my point across in the end.
Yeah, eventually. We've got Gary LaViolette in pit road now, and he's got some damage on his truck, so this is going to be a running theme here at Dover. Oh, Bob Agalatta's in the wall again.
Oh, and he's hard in the wall too. That's going to put him. Wow. Caution is out. Watch it. Marty Ray.
And it just went from bad to worse way too early for Bob Agalatta. And let's go back and see what happened to the man in the 51 once again. And it was that corner again out of turn 2. He touched the apron going through midway through 1 and 2. That's what caused him to go high. He lost control coming on the back end of the backstretch. The car just snapped left and right into the side of Jeff Schmeier as, he had, wow. It just went downhill so quickly for him right there.
Almost backed out of the track and hit Dennis Fuson and Marty Ray as well. So that was just a mare of a couple laps, and we said the wall comes up on you so quickly here, and that's what I was saying about big risk, big reward. It is a big risk to go as fast as these guys are going through these corners, but the reward is you have so much speed coming out of it, and unfortunately, Bob Agalatta now twice in the course of, 5 laps? Really did himself in on that turn 2 wall. Yeah,
and very unfortunate. He had a good start to this race. Just one small mistake really put pay to it, as we've seen Jeff Schmeier come down pit road from that damage he accrued from Bob Agalatta. That's promoted Bryan Barns up to 2nd place, Bob Beltrami up to 3rd. So all change at the front here, and Wayne Hutchison up to P4. Good position for him.
Yeah, he's been riding around in the back there, and with the guys coming in to change, to get a new car, as Bob Agalatta has used his fast repair, as you would assume he would have, to get his car nice and shiny again. Jeff Schmeier sitting in pit road now, seeing if he can repair as much damage to that truck as he possibly can without using his fast repair this early.
And I'm surprised Fuson and Ray haven't been down pit road to get a new fire suit.
Yeah, right. As there goes Schmeier. He will barely stay on the lead lap, and his truck doesn't look all that bad. A little bit of right rear damage on it, but other than that, nothing too noticeable on that number 22.
Yep, I'm just
the lights are out on the safety truck now. trying to get this race back underway here. So that first caution coming out on lap 21 of 160 laps. There again, there is a fast repair here tonight, and four total sets of tires. So three sets of tires in pit lane that these guys can change onto. So pit stops are not going to be as automatic as you would think they would be. So Hollingsworth with right rear damage will bring the field back down for the green flag. Pace truck is staying on.
Oh, wow. They've delayed the restart.
Yeah, they have.
I wonder if it's because the back of the field is not rejoined properly. Yeah, they're all stacked up at the back here, look.
Yeah, now they're starting it out again.
James Campbell, the luckiest driver out of that one. He's back on the lead lap again after collecting the lucky dog. But that rear damage that he got from Dan Stussy not helping in his favour. As it looks like Gary Laviolette has put his truck on the hauler already.
Yeah, he has, and Stussy has as well. So those two both done for the evening.
That's unfortunate. Laviolette was looking pretty good out there tonight. For him to retire that early is pretty unfortunate. Now watch Bob Aguilata. He's going to be one of the drivers trying to push his way to the front. Bentley Glazer already up into the top 10, by the way.
Yeah, and he's benefiting from drivers in front of him pitting. He did work his way up, I believe, into the high teens. But benefiting now from drivers pitting is a big start from Jeff Hollingsworth, and he's going to get out to a huge lead as this race goes back green again. Oh, and a wreck in the back, Carl Burke.
And Carl Burke in trouble. Last week's winner. Carl Burke. Sorry.
He got pinched on the wall by Barb Bagalata, who's trying to take that outside slingshot to try to move up the field. And unfortunately, Burke kind of chopped him off.
Yeah, so already shenanigans at the restart here as Hollingsworth starting to streak away from Bryan Barns, who's got Bob Beltrami right behind him. We're on board with Beltrami as they come through turn 4. And that's what I love about Dover. If you get these corners right, you can literally just slingshot around these corners, and it's so satisfying when you get around these corners completely like you do, like, no.
It is a lot of fun to drive this racetrack, and it's like a roller coaster. You see how much these cars fall into these corners, and then they jump up out onto the straightaways. And Barnes in the wall in the 4. So we're going to be seeing that all night long. Guys putting it in the wall. Coming out of turn 2, that wall really catches up on you in a hurry. And that peak, that crest at the end of turn 2 really, really, really wreaks havoc with that race car.
Now as they come down in towards turn 3, we're on lap 30 of 160 already. This race going by pretty quickly. Wayne Hutchinson under massive pressure from Ron Holyfield and Marty Ray right now as we're on board with the 17. There is the 7 right behind him. Now, how long can Hutchinson hold on for? Because that 7 and 65 are looking very fast as we go into caution.
Yeah, Holyfield has been very...
Oh, multiple trucks involved. And that is... Oh,
they're still getting wrecked. They're still coming in.
Yeah.
And you see, this is what we were talking about at the top of the broadcast, was guys just this track. Once you start wrecking, this track is like a funnel. It funnels and...
Sorry, it was caused by Bob Aguilata again. Getting a bit too aggressive with Eric Woods. And I believe that was the 32 of Brandon Prone as well. And We're on board with them right now. Just got very aggressive with both those drivers, and unfortunately ended in a wreck. Carl Burke getting involved in it as well. Jeff Schmeier involved. The 8 of Anthony Erskine involved. Wayne Fleet involved as well. Lots of trucks involved in that one. And like I said, it was just one aggressive move that was always going to cause that.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate. The 51 has shown pace. Unfortunately, he hasn't really shown that he knows what to do with it, as Beltrami wins the race off of pit road away from the 65. So we're going to have a shake-up at the top here as Hollingsworth falls back to, I believe, about 7th or 8th.
Yeah, he was repairing that damage he got on the rear end of his car.
Yeah.
So, as you keep calling that, I'm still trying to fix these
Carl
flipping
Burke.
cameras.
Yeah, Carl Burke coming out of pit lane now. So I believe that will leave Wayne Hutchinson in the 17 with the race lead. And now that I've gathered my thoughts here, with this track is so narrow that if something does happen, with the banking of this track, you can see how the front straightaway and especially the back straightaway have a banking down towards the inside. Most of the wrecks tend to follow the banking and go down, but the problem is that the walls on the inside are so close, it just tends to bounce the trucks or cars back out onto the racetrack in the middle of everyone. And with how narrow it is, there really is no way to escape a wreck if it happens there. And we saw that with Schmeier, we saw that with Fleet, who ended up piling into that wreck at the back end because this track is so narrow and so tight.
Yeah.
Especially down that back straightaway.
So we're under our second caution. We've had 2 big wrecks involving the same driver. He was pretty much out of this now. He blew his engine in that wreck, so he is done because he's used up his 1 fast repair. Unfortunately,
well, he's not technically done. I think it's, if you blow an engine, it's about a half hour of required repairs. So he's done as far as winning this race, and now he's just manually disconnected. So a good showing from Barbagalata as far as speed and just overall pace goes, but his racecraft looked a little suspect.
Yeah. Don't make me start talking about Among Us memes again.
No. And just to say, my racecraft is suspect at most points as well, so that's not someone looking down.
Yeah, if it was a game of Among Us, I would have voted you off a long time ago.
Yeah. I would have.
You are the imposter.
You while you lost. Would have laughed as you guys found out that I wasn't the imposter and lost.
Throwing the game, as they say.
Yep.
As we go through 3 and 4, Frank, get us going.
Yeah, it's going to be Wayne Hutchinson and Ron Hollifield on the front row here, leading them down. Pace truck is off, and a big restart from the 17 of Wayne Fleet. He's going to get a good getaway. That's going to leave Dennis Fuson to the inside as we are racing again here at Dover.
Yep, as they come out of turn 2. Hollifield in second place. It's going to be Fuson in third. Charles Woods in fourth. Rob Gall in P5. Chad Barker up to P6. Remember the run he had last week, and unfortunately he got up involved in his fair share of wrecks. He's up there in that top 6 now. Paul Hoffman, P7. Barry Phil, P8. David Weaver in P9. And David Wood, the last of the drivers that didn't take it down pit road last time around, is in P10, about to be displaced by Bob Beltrami as they come flying out of turn 2.
Yeah, and for Beltrami right now, this is huge. He's got Bryan Barns in the 18th position. Meanwhile, Beltrami himself just took 10th and is going to be looking at 9th place with the back of David Weaver in the 16. There he goes for 9th going into turn 1. So he has Bryan Barnes trapped there towards the back. time to make up as many places as you can. Because now he's going to get Barry Phil in the 99 as well.
Yeah, and he's already looking to the back of Paul Hoffman here as they come out of turn 4. Now, that is the difference between old tyres and new tyres. He's seen it right there as Beltrami just passes him like he's not even there. Same for Marty Ray. Same for Jeff Hollingsworth, who's right behind him as well.
Caution is out again.
Oh, no, and it's going to be Dustin Burns. Let's take a look.
Lead involved as well.
Again, oh, wow.
I don't think Burns was the cause of that.
Oh, what was that? Someone just went flying.
It looked like the 8 of Erskine just pushed up the track into the 12. And then
that was Campbell that went flying. Take another look at that.
Campbell's upside down.
Yeah, just look at this as they come out of turn 4, gets into it with the 8 and just goes back up the track and just absolutely... It's that iRacing glitch where if you hit the wall at a certain angle, it flips you up in the air.
Boy, yep, and that's what it's like to be caught and then thrown back the way you came right there.
Yeah, so Wayne Hutchison staying out again, followed by Chad Barker. Beltrami going to stay out as well. Ron Holyfield is in pit road. I see him there just, that's Charles Woods actually.
Fuson in pit road. I believe Schmeier in pit lane as well.
Schmeier's had a terrible start to the race tonight.
Yes, he has. And it was such a great... oh, no, Schmeier, pardon me. That was not Schmeier in pit lane. My bad. But the race started off so well for Schmeier, running in 3rd place, made up a couple spots early, and then just got caught up in the 51. The 51's mistake.
As Eric Woods gets the wave around there, he is the lucky dog in this 3rd caution of the night. Now, Wayne Hutchison probably going to be have to be a bit careful on this restart. 40 laps on his tyres. Chad Barker 17 laps on his tyres. Probably won't be so bad. But Wayne Hutchison, very old tyres. He's not been down pit road yet in this race, Frank. This might be a difficult restart for him this time around.
Right, but he's doing exactly what he needs to do on old tires, which is to get that early jump on the restart and put as much distance in between himself and the guys on fresh tires to get out and lead as much of this race as you possibly can before the guys on fresh tires inevitably swallow you up.
Yeah. The other thing that works in his favor here tonight is if you can keep it as low as possible through the corners. It is very difficult to get around, whether it's on the inside or the outside. Very difficult to pass around here, whether it's on old tires or new tires.
But that's also the fun of this racetrack, because you can pass on the outside. You have to set it up in the turn prior. If you get a great run on exit, you can dive in to the turn to either 1 or 3 and really try to get to the bottom first, or you could try to take that momentum and that run around the outside to make a pass. We've seen drivers tonight. Beltrami's done it. Barnes did it. Schmeier did it. You can pass on the outside. You just need one heck of a run, and you just have to choose which lane. You got to choose correctly which lane the driver in front of you is going to give you.
5 retirements already here tonight. Anthony Erskine, Wayne Fleet, William Barbagaletta, Gary LaViolette and Dan Stussy all out of this race already. We're only on lap 41. Attrition starting to take place already. It's already starting to take effect here at Dover, Frank.
Yeah, Miles is having fun with us here early tonight. It's already taking 5 of our competitors out of here. One of them a pretty solid one.
Yeah. Wayne Fleet is a season regular. Erskine, Barbagalata, LaViolette and Stussy came late in the season. But Fleet has been here since race 1, and unfortunately his race is over already as we get ready to go racing once again, and it's going to be on lap 43 of 160. This is the end of the 3rd caution. If you're just joining us, you are here for the 15th round of the Western States Racing League here at Dover. And as we've already mentioned, Miles the Monster has had his way with 5 drivers already. Let's see how many more he can take as the pace truck pulls off into pit road. And Hutchinson, like you said, Frank, getting that early restart and flying his way down towards turn 1, gets a bit of a gap over Chad Barker and Bob Beltrami.
If Barker's going to have to really send it into turn 1 to try to keep Beltrami behind him. Unfortunately, that's not going to be the case, as Beltrami is going to be able to stick it to the inside and keep it there. Of that 26, a little bit of a slide up from the 14, 26 coming down as well. But coming off of 4, it is going to be the 14 taking second place. And boy, we've got a jumble up here at the front.
And Hutchison, like I predicted at the during the caution, trying to keep it down low, but Beltrami quickly to get the crossover done on the 17, and he's going to dive it to the inside, take away the lead, and everybody's going to follow him through. Hutchison's going to get freight trained right here.
That was a very aggressive block by Chad Barker on Jeff Hollingsworth going into 3, and it paid off for him as he gets up into second place. But now I believe he just hit the apron going through 1 and 2, and now Hollingsworth has the run. Little bit of a wall hit, and there he goes. I believe there's the caution.
Yeah, and Hollingsworth involved in his second incident of the night as Chad Barker just lost control of the truck there. You're going to go back and see it right here. It scraped the wall and they just snapped left on him. That was a very strange incident there for the 26.
So strange, as a matter of fact, I think it might have been net code, if I'm honest.
May have been.
That looked like what it could have been there, because it didn't look like Hollingsworth touched him. Yeah, no, that's all net code.
We'll go back and take another look at it.
Because when he came off the wall, his car reacted as though he had hit Hollingsworth in the door, but he didn't. If you look at it from the overhead view, he doesn't hit Hollingsworth going into 3, and that's what sends him sideways across Hollingsworth's nose.
Yep, you saw it right there. And Hutchison almost getting into it as well. Had to really step on the brakes there to avoid the ailing 26.
65 of Marty Ray had to make the same evasive actions.
Yeah. The Ray promoted up to second. Schmeier, I believe he's taking his fast repair. He's up to third now. Bentley Glaze up to P4 now. Barker's still in P5, but he's going to have to come in for some repairs here. Ron Holyfield in P6. 7th going to Bryan Barnes. 8th to Carl Burke. 9th is Ray Fournier. Now, good position for him. He's normally seen as one of the people in the mid-pack and close to the rear end of the field. That's no judgment on his driving. That's just, I believe that's where he likes to be. But he's up there in the top 10 regardless. Charles Woods is in P10. Dennis Fuson trying to make his way back for the field. He's in P11. Whereas, well, Jeff Hollingsworth has dropped all the way back to P19.
Hollingsworth, Hutchinson, and Hoffman all taking it down pit road. Hollingsworth still sitting in his box trying to repair damage. This time that right front corner after the 26, that incident we just saw.
And there he goes out of pit road. And that's the advantage of having the first pit stall as well. He can just throw it out of pit road and not catch a penalty for it, which is pretty amazing.
26 into pit lane now, just getting into his box to repair damage.
He takes a fast repair there, actually, so using his fast repair up very early. I'm not sure if that's going to work against him or work with him, but he's got to be very careful for these next, I don't know, 110, 112 laps.
Yeah, it could also be a case of, and I've done it too, case of, oops, I forgot there was a fast repair, I forgot to uncheck it. So that also could have been the case for the 26.
Just got a message in the chat from our good friend Mark McFadden saying, hey, Sam and Frank, that was a hard hit. He's referring to the third caution there, and he says, good job calling the race. So thanks for the kind words there, Mark.
Thank you very much, Mark.
As we're on lap 48, about to stick over to lap 49 out of 160. We are under our fourth caution of the night so far. Now, this is not indicative of how these drivers race. They don't normally have this many cautions early on. They usually get it pretty settled out as the race progresses, but just like New Hampshire on Sunday, Frank, it's just the nature of the track to see this many trucks get involved in these many wrecks so early on.
Yeah, and if you watch that race on Sunday at New Hampshire, you might not have too good of feelings about where we go next week for the Western States Racing League, because that's where we're going. We're going right back to Loudon, New Hampshire for 120 laps. But I'm sure these guys will certainly figure it out. These cars aren't nearly as difficult to handle around New Hampshire as the Cup cars are, so I'm a little bit more optimistic about next Tuesday night.
Absolutely, as they made their way through 3 and 4. Pace truck will make the hard left turn onto pit road now. We're going to get restarted here on lap 50 of 160 here at Dover. There goes the pace truck. Bob Beltrami has control of the field now as they come through turn 4. Watch for him to step on it early, and he does. We are racing here again. And down towards turn 1. Looks like Marty Ray might have a run on Beltrami as they go flying off into turn 1. Schmeier and Glazer are right there as well, as Barnes and Holyfield are in the mix as well, with Carl Burke just leading a little second pack right there, right behind him.
Yeah, that was the latest we've had a restart. I think Beltrami went on the flag, and that's what's kept Marty Ray in the 65 up with him. So a slower start than what we're used to seeing here out of the 14.
Yep, out of 2. As Beltrami still leading this thing. His closest rival, Bryan Barns, back in P6 right now behind Ron Holyfield. As we see the field just making their way down the backstretch right there. Carl Burke starting to reel in Bryan Barnes right now with Charles Woods right behind the 53. We're on board with Charles Woods now as they make their way out of turn 2. And everybody just getting single file now and just trying to settle things down a little bit.
Yeah, these guys have spread out. They've settled down quite a bit. We're not seeing too much hard racing going on right now. We're seeing plenty of racing through the field, but nothing too strenuous, nothing too taxing on the cars. As Hollingsworth trying to make his way up through the field, currently sitting in 18th position. He's behind the 3 in the 85, trying to find a way around.
He's going to find his way around Eric Woods, but here he goes. Big dive down through 1 and 2. And he gets the job done. Now he's going to be looking to the back of Paul Hoffman. Hoffman's got some pretty big damage on the rear end of that Dale Senior truck.
Yeah, he believe it was that big incident on the back straightaway that he had gotten involved in. There's the 27 of David Wood in front of him, and then Wayne Hutchinson sitting in 14th position in that number 17. And Ray Fournier in the 026 leading this group.
And Fournier restarted back in the top 10. He's got some damage on the front of his truck as well, as there goes Hutchinson. Big dive to the inside, and you can tell Hutchinson on fresh tyres now, starting to pick up some momentum here as he streaks away from the 026 and sets his sights on trying to catch David Weaver for that P12.
Yeah, and we'll see the true pace of that number 17 right now, as he's already pulled out a decent-sized gap on that 026 of 48. Now the 27 trying to find his way around, just can't. Hollingsworth has gotten past Hoffman in the 3. 26 of Barker trying to follow him through. And Hoffman able to maintain that 16th position. Sorry, the 17th position.
Yep, as Fournier going to go to the high line there. I think he's just going to have to give it up and let these guys pass now. That damage starting to hurt him now. this being a 1 mile track, you think it might be a bit slower, but as you're seeing with the drivers out on track, if you're new to Dover, you'll see that they're not exactly going slow around here, Frank. This is probably one of the fastest 1 milers we're going to see on the well, this is the fastest 1 miler on the calendar here.
Yeah, we just, if you were looking at David Wood, I'm looking at his speed right now. He was going 166. Yep, Speedo just clicks over to 166 right before he makes that downhill dive going into the corner. So these things have some speed around here. These things are not just puttering along. These guys are moving.
Yeah, we've got the speedometer up on the screen right now as they come out of turn 2. We're going to focus on David Wood right here. And 167 he got that time around.
And battle for third position now as Bentley Glazer gets around Jeff Schmeier, and Ron Hollifield gets around him. So Schmeier going from third to fifth, and I believe he might have caught the wall coming out of turn 2.
He's still carrying that damage from that hit from Bob Agaleta.
I think that might be new, if I'm honest.
Oh, right, okay.
Oh, yeah, he hit that wall hard coming out of 2 that lap right there as he was getting passed by Hollifield. So that is new damage on the 22.
In exactly the same spot where he got the previous damage, so unfortunate there for Schmeier, as we've got a nice battle brewing up for the lead here between 4 trucks right now. It's Beltrami, Ray, Glazer, and Hollifield. And these 4 have really bunched up now as they're going to duke it out for top honors here as we are just starting lap 64 of 160. We are less than 100 laps to go. And with how fast this 1 miler is, if they stay green, it's a big if, because Miles the Monster is still hungry apparently. Those 100 laps will go very, very quickly here tonight.
Yeah, they should. They're only taking about 24 seconds a lap. So you can get 2 laps done in a minute here. So it's a nice little pace for them. And a couple of laps ago, I just happened to notice the 4 of Bryan Barnes has just hemorrhaging positions right now. He's fallen back to 13th position. And at this rate, we are going to have a new points leader going into Loudon next week.
I believe Barnes might have some right front damage.
He does.
So he's hit the wall as well somewhere, and he has fallen outside the top 10. He's going to have the very fast David Wood trying to catch up to him, and Jeff Hollingsworth not exactly catching David Wood either. He's just happy to sit right behind the 27 right now.
And he's running a 23.6. Compare that to Beltrami, who last lap ran a 23.85. So Hollingsworth is quicker than the race lead, but also David Wood David Wood's actually running quicker than the 97 of Hollingsworth. A 23.5 that last lap for Wood compared to the 23.66 for Hollingsworth.
Yeah, the actual fastest driver on the track right now is the man right behind Jeff Hollingsworth. As Chad Barker ran a 23.516 lap time around, 23.627. That's still faster than a lot of the drivers here. The fastest driver that time around was actually this man, Carl Burke, with a 24. Actually, no, it was Dennis Fuzon with a 24.159. Pace is starting to drop off ever so slightly now.
Yeah, and that's indicative of this track. We're about 2 seconds, or about 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds off of where we were in qualifying. Pardon me, which is just about standard for these guys. You typically see that type of fall off, and we're getting a nice little green flag run here as Bentley Glazer moves into the second position, as I believe Marty Ray had an issue.
Yeah, and they're catching up to lap traffic. That might be the reason why. And Beltrami's going to be the first one to catch Fournier. And remember, Fournier restarted inside the top 10. He's down to P21 now. So that front end damage on that 0.26 is really affected him now with these high speeds, as he almost pinches Marty Ray through the corner there.
If you watched the broadcast on Sunday night, you heard me talking a lot about mechanical grip, needing mechanical grip a lot more than aero grip. This is one of those tracks where, yes, you need a good amount of mechanical grip, but if that aero is messed up in the slightest, it really, really does hurt the race car. These corners are so high banked and so quick that you really do need a very, very good aero setup here if you want to be successful. And right now, that 14 of Beltrami is rolling.
Yeah, as James Campbell right in front of Jeff Schmeier right there, not exactly getting out of the way. And he does eventually. Speaking of Jeff Schmeier, we do have a three-way battle for that last spot in the top 5 here, Frank.
Yeah, that 12, I'm watching him right now, and that 12 just does not look comfortable at all. Forget about just being passed. He doesn't look comfortable on this track. And that's perfectly fine. Just be very wary around the 12 if I were in the truck.
As we're still focused on this battle for the last spot in the top 5 between Jeff Schmeier, Charles Woods and Dennis Fuson. Colbert not too far behind either, but he's about 7/10 off of Dennis Fuson as James Campbell gets a big slide for life coming out of turn 4. Yeah, you are right. That 12 does not look very comfortable out there right now as he's got Rob Gall right behind him now. Gall we've not really spoken much about tonight already so far.
Yeah, no, Gall has been kind of invisible here tonight. Oh boy, that 12. Oh, he's making it interesting, isn't he, though?
That he is.
You can't fault him for that. You need a little bit of spice in a race, and the 12 is providing enough for everyone.
Yeah, that's a spicy meatball. Anyway, let's go back to Chad Barker, who's still riding behind Jeff Hollingsworth, and now you see it right there. Hollingsworth starting to put Jeffrey Schloss under pressure. They have got around David Wood finally. Now Schloss with that heavily damaged number 023, just stacking them up ever so slightly as they come through 1 and 2 right now. Yeah,
it's an open wheel term, the cork in the bottle. That's exactly what the 023 is right now. He is the cork in the bottle. Once Hollingsworth finally gets a good enough run to get under that 023, which he might be setting up for here. The key is you can't be too close to him on corner exit so you can get that run down the straightaway so you can make a dive into the next corner. And Hollingsworth just a little too close, and now he's falling back, so he's gonna end up spending at least a corner behind that 023. But once that 023 finally gets past, everyone's going to go by him.
Almost left the door open there for Jeff Hollingsworth as they come out of turn 2. And that's what Hollingsworth is waiting for Schloss to get that little push up the track, and he will find that gap to push his way through. Nearly had it there through 3 and 4, but had to back out of it because Schloss came right back down the track again.
Yeah, Schloss is kind of diamonding the corner, and that's where you enter low, go up in. Oh, that's the 12 hard in the wall in the back. Caution's out.
Yeah. So James Campbell is not going from bad to worse to even more worse as the man in the number 12 iRacing F-150 smacks the wall coming out of turn 2 and just absolutely pounds the inside wall down the backstretch here. And
both walls down.
Yeah. As Miles claims another victim.
Those were 2 really hard hits. That one on the inside, though, I think that one might have been a little harder.
Now this is where we're going to get a great deal of separation amongst the drivers here. Some of them are going to be very happy to see the caution out. Some people are going to be very unhappy to see the caution come out because they were just getting into a rhythm. Like Bob Beltrami, he had a gap of over 1.5 seconds over Bentley Glazer before they came out. Probably not going to be happy to see that yellow come out right now.
And I think one guy who is going to be happy is that 4 of Bryan Barns. He can get that right front fixed, get some 4 tires on it, and see what he could do as far as moving up the field. As wholesale pit stops happening now.
Yeah, as we go to the pit lane right now, and that is your view of the drivers coming down pit road right now, as Charles Woods opting to stay out here. As we see the rest of the drivers just making their way into their pit stalls, and there is Beltrami. There is Schmeier right behind him.
Carl Burke's going to split the 2.
Yep, Bryan Barnes. And Jeff Hollingsworth.
7's already out. There's the 14. That green cone is pit exit, by the way. So pretty much out where they came in. Barnes is fixing that damage. Boy, the 32 made a mare of his pit entry. My goodness.
Yeah, he did. And that's put him all the way back down to P22.
Still not in the box. There we go.
There we go. Finally got new Goodyears on that.
Bryan Barnes just leaving now. So that put him well back.
Yeah, back in P19, so not going to be happy with that one. But like you said, probably just in there repairing that damage, so no harm, no foul. We know Barnes is a fast driver, so he will pick up a lot of positions once we go back to green, but how many can he pick up on such a on a track which is very difficult to overtake? Once the tires are heated up and everybody's on the same wavelength, it's very difficult to overtake.
It is, especially now. Well, at least for Beltrami, he's got 2 guys who did not pit, Charles Woods and Chad Barker, not coming in after that pretty decent length green flag run. As we're just slightly past the halfway point.
Yeah, I think it was like 50 laps, almost.
That would be fair, possibly maybe a little bit less, but yeah, that was a very good, solid green flag run.
And from what I could gather from looking at the tire life on the trucks on my timing and scoring, they were getting very close to green flag pit stops as well. So some of them might have been, like I said, some of them might have been very happy to see that caution come out so they can get fresh tires.
I would have been very happy just so I didn't have to try to get into that pit lane under green flag conditions.
It's not that hard. Just slow down on turn 3 and just aim for the entrance midway through turn 3.
Yeah, just slow down on essentially corded tires, and yeah, just go from 160 to 35 in a matter of a couple hundred feet. What's so hard about that?
Yeah, when you got tires of the shape of a bolt.
Oh boy.
Or as we call them over here, nuts.
Yep.
Nuts and bolts. There you go. Well, tires the shape of a hexagon. There you go.
Go with a cube, maybe. That might do it.
Not that bad. Get us going, Frank.
Right, guys. Guys are headed down under the Ally Bridge through turns 3 and 4. It'll be Charles Woods getting them underway for the first time. Again, Woods and Barker on older tires. Pace truck is off. Woods holding them down, holding them down, holding them down. And there we go. Green flag is back in the air. We are racing. Woods gets clear of Barker, and that will leave Beltrami to deal with Bentley Glazer on the outside of row 2. And boy, a big slide from the 40 of Woods.
Yeah, and Woods just trying to stay out in front. Barker trying to hold on to second, but here comes Beltrami. Big power move, and he's going to get a 2 for 1 here as he comes out of turn 4. Beltrami back up to the point, and Holyfield going to follow him through. Same for Marty Ray, same for Jeff Schmeier, as Woods and Barker just get eaten alive right there.
Yeah, Bentley Glazer's going to be fuming because he was stuck behind those two for that corner. and Glazer went from effective second place all the way down to 7th. So he's got to be a little less than entertained right now in that 87.
Woods and Barker now outside the top 10 pretty much, as Gall now to the inside of the 40. And there he goes. Same for Rob Gall. He's going to make his way up there, as well as the two guys that started on the front row on this last restart are now outside the top 10 already, as Bob Beltrami now has Ron Holyfield for company as he comes down across the line to start lap 89. And this is where Beltrami needs to start just relaxing and let himself build his lead up again, because he was lightning quick last time around. He's got his closest challenger in the point standings back down in P15, so Beltrami just needs to relax and let the race come to him right now.
There's really no relaxing with how close Ron Holyfield is. Holyfield at last lap was 0.3 quicker than Beltrami, put him right on the back bumper of that number 14, and Holyfield is not giving Beltrami any sort of space here.
Yeah, and they've pulled a pretty decent lead over Marty Ray, who's currently holding on to third place. Bentley Glazer in P4, Jeff Schmeier in P5, Wayne Hutchinson. And we said how quick he was during that last run. He's already up to P6 and now putting a move on Jeff Schmeier. Schmeier going to leave the door open through 3 and 4, and is going to leave it open for Wayne Hutchinson to just slide on through and move his way up into the top 5. That 17 is flying here tonight.
Yeah, and then good job by Schmeier to get down in front of the 11 of Fuson. Still a little bit of damage on the front end of that 22. That's going to be bugging him for the rest of this race, but you can see which guys are quicker and which guys are the ones that are falling to the back. It's the guys that are keeping that car pinned right down to the bottom that are the quickest around here. The guys running about a half a lane to a full lane off the bottom, those are the ones that are moving backwards.
Yeah, and one of the guys has moved backwards the most.
Holyfield just taking the lead.
Yes, he has, as they come out of turn 4. And for the first time tonight, Ron Holyfield will be a leader. And I was just mentioning the one man that has fallen back the most through the field is this man in the 40, Charles Woods, has gone from leading this piece on that last restart all the way down to P20 now. So that is one hell of a fall.
From the first car on the lead lap to now the last car on the lead lap for Woods, and that's the difference in those tires right there. He's running a 24.0. That last lap, Holyfield ran a 23.1, so 0.9 of a second per lap. He is losing to the top to the top of the field.
Charles Woods has only made one pit stop so far tonight. He's got 55 laps on those tyres and fuel. It won't be long before he has to bring it down pit road, as we're still focused on this lead battle between Ron Holyfield and Bob Beltrami. There's a battle brewing here between Marty Ray and Bentley Glazer for that third spot. And Wayne Hutchinson isn't too far behind either. He's got Dennis Fuson still right there. Jeff Hollingsworth back up to P7 as he's got around Jeff Schmeier as well. Schmeier's starting to fall backwards with that damage on his right front.
Yeah, Schmeier is in a little bit of trouble in that 22, and that's that aero grip that I was talking about during that last run. If you got that damage on that right front, as much as that 22 has it, it's going to affect you for the rest of the race. You're not going to be able to turn in as well. You're not going to be able to rotate the car as well. You're not going to be able to get the speed off that you need to put up a serious fight. So that 22 right now is just kind of floundering, trying to hold on to the best position he can find.
Yeah, he's got Rob Gall right there with him. That 31 looking very lightning quick as they come out of turn 4 to complete another lap here. Carl Burke is the last driver in the top 10 now. He was the man that won this one after lagging back for most of the race last week. I'm wondering if that's the same strategy he's deploying this time around, because like I said last week, he used this strategy and it really paid off for that man in the 53.
Yeah, Burke was really solid all throughout the race last week. We've seen him many times. He's a very good tire saver. And just with how well he was able to save the tires last week, got a nice run when he needed it. That 53 of Burke, he's a very smart racer. Wouldn't be surprised now the caution comes out.
Yeah, caution is out, and it's going to be Jeffrey Schloss who tows it back to pit road. Let's take a look and see what happened here. He's going to have Brandon Prone right behind him. And Prone making a very big dive there, and just the door closed.
Goodness, that's a hard hit on the inside wall, but I think that's on Schloss in the 023. That Prawn was there. Yeah, Prawn was there that entire time, and just Schloss didn't hold his lane.
Yeah, and that was a door hit. That was a cockpit hit onto the wall. And
one on the inside wall, that head-on hit on the inside wall was hard.
Yeah. So caution number 6, I believe. No, caution number 5 out on the track right now, as we are literally 60 laps to go now, or 59 laps to go, as they've just crossed the line again. And I said this race was going to go quick, and even though we've had 5 cautions here, Frank, this race is still going by very quickly.
Yeah, it certainly has. It's one of those tracks where it's 2 laps a minute. So you think this race just takes an hour and 20 minutes if you run it just straight green. And even the pace laps here take under a minute as compared to, say, in Michigan last week or Loudon. You know, so just everything happens quick around Dover.
No, it does, and just seen Ray Fournier take his lucky dog here as Jeffrey Schloss has put his truck on the hauler, so he becomes retirement number 7 here. And Miles is definitely getting his fill here tonight, Frank.
Pardon me, who did you say?
I said Miles is definitely getting his fill here tonight.
Oh, yes, Miles certainly is. This is typical for him, though. He just doesn't seem to know when to quit. And unfortunately, it is claimed, what was it, 7 drivers?
7 now, yeah.
7 drivers here tonight, so
I don't think he's finished.
Well, we hope he is, but hopefully he is finished for tonight.
Yeah, he's not finished.
Yeah, no, he's not.
On the backstretch, we're on lap 103 of 160. Nobody bringing it down pit road, interestingly. The only driver to come down pit road was Charles Woods, and you got to think he had to kind of bring it down pit road because he was almost bingo on fuel. That was for his second stop. That leaves Chad Barker on the oldest tyres in the field. He's got 55 laps on his tyres, so he won't be long before he comes down pit road as well, as we're ready to go racing again here, Frank.
Yeah, we will be here just momentarily. You'd have to think that that's a strategy call, because from what I could see, guys up here at the front, Beltrami, Ray, Glazer, Hollifield, these are guys that have all used 2 sets of tires already, at least. And they only have 1 set left. They didn't do too many laps on this set, so really not all that surprising that they didn't bring it down pit road.
Not at all, as
Let's turn her out on the safety track here.
yes, sir, as they come out of turn 2, and it's going to be Ron Holyfield that's going to lead them to the green here. Now, I believe this is only his 2nd race here, and he's already leading races here, so pretty impressive for the 7. But it's going to be that man on the outside, Bob Beltrami. He's going to be looking to conserve his pretty decent lead over Bryan Barns here tonight. Barnes is still mired back in P13 as they come through 3 and 4. And it's going to be interesting to see how these last 55, 57 laps go. as they come out of turn 4. Holyfield hits the loud pedal, and look at Bentley Glazer. Oh no, Marty Ray actually to the inside of Bob Beltrami on the restart, and there it goes. Marty Ray up to second place, and Bentley Glazer going to try and follow him through there. Bad restart there by the championship contender.
Just couldn't see the car on the inside go until he was already well away, and you see that run that you can get on that outside line. That 14 was essentially behind the 87 going through turns 1 and 2, comes out ahead on the back straightaway thanks to that slingshot from the outside lane.
Yeah, so Holyfield leading them out of turn 2, but Marty Ray has picked up some speed here and fancies a run at the 7. A big block there by Ron Holyfield going into 3 there, Frank.
Yeah, and I was watching the 14 of Beltrami. He is flirting with that wall going into 3. I don't think you could have fit a piece of paper between him and the wall, but he looks just as if it rolled off the truck.
Now he needs to be careful because he's had a lot of opportunities to close the gap on Bryan Barns over the past few races, and unfortunately bad luck has come his way and he's not been able to close that gap because either Bryan Barnes has come back or he's been involved in a wreck somewhere. So Beltrami probably just needs to be patient here and just sit back and just like I said before, let the race come to him, and he should be able to close that gap pretty significantly. Even though Bryan Barnes has already picked up 2 positions, he's up to P11 now. Yeah,
I was just going to say the points leader Barnes sitting in the 11th spot right now. This would be a points lead change if I know how to maths, and I think I do. That would leave Bob Beltrami in the points lead by about 1 or 2. So he's doing what he needs to do going into Loudon, and you really want the points lead, especially coming out of Loudon when we go to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park in 2 weeks.
Yeah, and that race is going to be in the back of people's corners. Holyfield goes around. Oh, and just as I said it, Beltrami gets caught up in another incident. Caution will fly again, and pretty big damage on that 14. Started from an incident between Marty Ray and Ron Holyfield. We're going to go back and take a look at it, but I think I might have jinxed Beltrami because he got a pretty nasty whack off the back of that 65 there.
Yeah, that's the 65 trying to make the dive going into the corner, and the 7 saying, no, son, that ain't happening. And unfortunately, it happened. And that's what happens sometimes. Tight racing, both guys trying to fight. Oh, that actually looked, from the view that I just had, that looked like net code as well.
Yeah, and Bentley Glazer taking a pretty big hit from that as well. As we go back to the live cameras here, and it's going to be Marty Ray that's leading them with Bob Beltrami in second. Bentley Glazer, they're going to resume their positions, it seems, apart from Ron Holyfield, who's unfortunately fallen to the back of the field. And Holyfield, to be fair, didn't get much damage from that one. He's just fallen all the way back down to P20 now.
An overhead view would confirm that was net code.
Yeah.
So 2 rather large incidents thanks to netcode here tonight.
As we're looking at Bob Beltrami just bringing it down pit road right there. Marty Ray opted to stay out. So it's Beltrami coming down pit road, followed by Wayne Hutchison. Now Hutchison had an opportunity there to be right up there with the leaders again, but he's opted to come down pit road. Bit of a strategy call there by the 17. Keith Kellman staying out. He's one of the drivers on the oldest tires in the field. Bryan Barnes coming in with Beltrami. He sees a bit of a pit road fight here between him and the 14.
I think Barnes only took 2 tires. The 14 took 4, and the 4 only took 2. So that will put them right together on the restart. So there's your points lead back to Bryan Barnes in the 4.
Yeah, and all this has helped this man, Marty Ray. Obviously, he was the man that orchestrated the incident between himself and Ron Holyfield. Obviously, it was netcode, but he did make that dive, which caused the netcode. So, but he's found himself in the lead. Bentley Glazer in second. Glazer's got some pretty nasty damage on that 87 as well now.
And he hit the 65 down in the infield. in turn 1. So that 85 damage, I think it'd probably be shorter to try to list which cars don't have some form of damage here tonight.
Yeah.
And with that wreck, that list actually just got a lot shorter.
Jeffrey Schloss, James Campbell, Anthony Erskine, Wayne Fleet, William Barbagalata, Gary LaViolette, and Dan Stussy are your retirements here tonight so far. As if you're just joining us, those are your retirements for this race. As Miles the Monster, ever the hungry track monster himself, just helping himself to trucks wherever he can, and he's definitely getting his money's worth here tonight. As we are ready to go racing almost. The lights should be going off on the pace truck this time by, and it's going to be Marty Ray that leads them back to green, despite being involved in that last incident there. Bentley Glazer was also involved. He's in second. Now watch for the man in third. He's been trying to make his way back up for the field, but now Jeff Hollingsworth sees an opportunity to try and lead some more laps here tonight.
Yep, Hollingsworth certainly did. And I'm not sure if you noticed, but you knocked yourself into the general chat. I don't know how you did that, but
I don't know how I did
that. But yeah, Hollingsworth has found his way back up again. The pole sitter here for tonight has had one of the faster cars after being involved in an early wreck. Found himself in the back. He's now found his way back up through the field in good position here to try to get some more laps led, possibly steal a win from the 14 and the 4.
Now, as they come out of turn 2, we're going to get this thing restarted again on lap 115 of 160. So it'll be 46 laps to go.
I believe so.
High power gazintas. Yeah, math on the fly doesn't work for me. As they come through 3 and 4, we are ready to go racing. Marty Ray going to lead them back to green. Bentley Glazer on his outside. As there goes the pace truck. Marty Ray, we're going to wait to see if he goes early or if he holds them down a little bit. He's going to hold them down. And there he goes on the exit of turn 4. We are racing once again. And let's see how fast the 65 and the 87 are, because, like I said, they're carrying damage. And look at Jeff Schmeier looking to the outside of Jeff Hollingsworth coming through 1 and 2. As, it looks like Glazer's holding people up there. That 87 is bleeding speed now. That damage really starting to rear its ugly head.
That the 97, all 4 of those guys in the top 4 have damage. The 97 of Hollingsworth is in the best position because all of his damage is at the rear of the car. You want that splitter to be able to turn and dive into these corners. And right now, the 65, 87, and 22 have compromised the front end of their cars. Meanwhile, the 97 still looks crystal clear.
Meanwhile, we're looking at the 14 above Beltrami. He is absolutely scything his way through the field, as is Dennis Fuson, as is, I can't quite see who that is. I think that might be Paul Hoffman coming through the field as well. And
Barry
it is.
Paul Hoffman in there as well.
Hoffman's been to fix that damage on his truck, as Carl Burke going to stay out wide and just stay out of trouble, as Hoffman almost gets into the side of the 53, but Beltrami already cutting his way through the field like a hot knife through butter. But on that last restart, Bryan Barns managed to get around him. He's up into P6 now.
The battle for the lead now is Hollingsworth going for the lead on Bentley Glazer, and he will take that lead away from the 87 as this front group here has just swapped positions completely, as now Marty Ray is the second car on that outside line. They're both going to be falling backwards quickly.
Dad, you asked earlier if that pit stop from Charles Woods would be a strategy call, and it certainly was, because look at how many positions he's picking up now. He's already up to P3 and already looking onto the back of Jeffrey Schmeier as they come down across the line in towards turn 1. And another big diving move there by Charles Woods. He's going to move his way up to second as he's going to file in right behind his teammate Jeff Hollingsworth.
Come rain, sleet, or snow, that Postal Service truck is going to find his way up towards the front, and there he is. He's got fresher tires than everybody else around him and a cleaner truck than anybody else around him. That 40 is moving, and Hollingsworth's going to just let him go.
Yeah, and that is two teammates right there, Jeff Hollingsworth and Charles Woods, driving for OGR Motorsports. They race in Sim Racers Edge as teammates as well, so no surprise that they are working together right here as Bob Beltrami has gone around his championship rival and now looking to the inside of Jeff Hollingsworth, coming through 1 and 2. Now Beltrami and Barnes on the absolute freshest tyres out of everybody. They have absolutely cut the way through the field like a hot knife through butter. Now they are right on the back of Charles Woods as they're looking for the lead once again.
And that 14 of Beltrami took his fast repair as well under that last caution flag, so his car is about as pristine at this moment. And I'm trying, because I saw some damage on the right side door of the 4, trying to see if that's still there. But right now, Charles Woods' time in the lead is ticking down.
10-lap difference between Charles Woods and Bob Beltrami, between pit stops at least, as Beltrami on fresh tyres and Barnes on those 2 fresh tyres, starting to falter ever so slightly. As here comes Beltrami. Big dive to the inside, and he will retake the lead in emphatic fashion, moving his way up from, I believe it was 15th on the 15th in the field on the last restart, already back up to the lead.
Yeah, he's been flying. This has essentially been his race to lose right now for Beltrami, and Woods now separating him and Bryan Barnes. The only difference between now for Beltrami and before is Barnes is now in the top 3 instead of being in the top 15.
Well, surely Barnes has got to pit and get some new tyres before this is over, because with how this track is, as fast as this track is, it likes to eat tyres, and you can't think that his tyres will last up until the very end of this race, as we are 35 laps to go before this is over.
And it is a very difficult track on tires, not just to mention the surface, but with how much force is put on these trucks, with how much speed they carry through these high banks. And on this concrete surface, it is a really, really difficult track on tires, as there goes Barnes for the second position on Charles Woods, and he is going to get it, and he's going to allow Dennis Fuson in the 11th through for 3rd.
And Paul Hoffman up to the top 5 now in that number 3 Dale truck. He's another one piling his way through the field. He's got Rob Gall and Wayne Hutchison right behind him. There's another 2 fast trucks there that pit under that last caution. Chad Barker in P8 now. He's got damage on the front of his truck though. Not sure where he got that from. Jeff Hollingsworth down to P9 now. Jeff Schmeier down to P10. Bentley Glazer's fallen all the way to P11. And Marty Ray down to P12. So the people on the oldest tyres now starting to fall their way back through the field.
Oldest tires to the most damage at this point, is all of those guys that you just mentioned have front end damage in some way, shape, or form. And right now, Carl Burke sitting patiently behind Marty Ray. That's a battle for 11th. Lead car in this pack being Jeff Schmeier, currently holding on to the 10th position right now.
And we just had a change for position for second place. Dennis Fuson has moved his way up to second place ahead of Bryan Barnes. Now that's going to put a smile on Bob Beltrami's face. Even if it means he only gets a couple of points taken off the lead of Bryan Barnes. But any points you can get between now and the end of the season works in your favour, and definitely working in Beltrami's favour right now.
Yeah, a couple of points is all you need sometimes, and that's, I'm assuming Barnes right now knows he does not have the pace of Beltrami, just trying to points race here right now, so he's not going to do anything stupid to put himself back where he was a couple of runs ago, back in that 15th, 16th position area. So he's trying to salvage a good finish here, thinking about points. Not going to do too many crazy things to hold on to position.
Not at all, as we're still focused on Barnes here. He's got Paul Hoffman closing on him as well. Now he's got to try and keep that Dell truck behind him, because like I said, he's points racing here tonight. Doesn't want to put himself in a harsh position, but he doesn't want to lose positions either. Otherwise, that's going to make it even more, or put it even more in Beltrami's favour. And Hoffman is definitely closing in on that 4 now.
And they got 2 guys closing in on Hoffman. Is Rob Gall in the 31, Wayne Hutchinson the 17. Those guys are starting to move their way up onto the back of the 3 as Charles Woods has completely fallen off. He falls now to the 8th position behind Chad Barker after being in the lead moments ago.
Yeah, and that'll show you what 10 laps difference between the him and the rest of the guys in front of him will do. Only 10 laps difference, and that's how much you fall off. That's amazing.
Yeah, we'll check it next time by, since Woods was on the outside lane. So not a fair representation of what his lap time actually is. Beltrami across the line this time runs a 23.88. Charles Woods crossing the line now runs a 24.3. So half a second difference between the 14 and the 40 on those 10 lap different tires.
Yeah. So that is the difference right there, as Fuson starting to fall back slightly now from Bob Beltrami. The gap is about 0.8 of a second between the 14 and the 11. The 4 and the 3, though, this is where the battle's going to start commencing, as Paul Hoffman has caught him. The question is, well, we say this every time on ESPN, catching is one thing, passing is completely another, especially on this track.
Yep, one guy who was able to pass is Wayne Hutchinson, has gotten around Rob Gall for that 5th position. So the 17 now ahead of the 31. And Barnes has lost a decent amount of time to that 3 of Paul Hoffman. I think the last time we checked in, it was a little bit over a half a second. Now we're down to about a quarter of a second difference between the 4 and the 3.
Yeah, and the time is ticking away. The laps are ticking away here as they cross the line. We're on lap 138 of 160. Just over 20 laps to go here at Dover. And it's still all to play for. Bob Beltrami leads this thing. He's about 0.7 of a second ahead of the 11 of Dennis Fuson. We've got one coming down to pit road. Can't quite see who that is. That's actually Barry Phil. Yeah.
He came in a couple laps ago and came out. Might have had a speeding on exit penalty to bring him back into pit road. So that 99 not having a great time here these last couple laps.
Yeah, and he is going to very gingerly pull it into his pit box right there, and doesn't seem very happy. He might have got a penalty. That's probably why he's coming in like he is, as we go back to the lead battle right now as Bryan Barnes. Now, I said it earlier, those 2 tires were going to start to affect him at some point. It looks like they're starting to now, Frank, as Hoffman and Hutchison are still right there behind him.
Yeah, and he still does have that right side damage. Does the 4 of Barnes, and the 3 and the 17. Now the fact that the 3 of Hoffman has Hutchinson behind him, that's going to put a little bit more urgency on the 3 to get a move done on the 4. So he might have been content just riding around and waiting until a little bit later on to make a pass. But now that he's got 5th place bearing down on him, he's going to be a little bit more intent on making that pass now.
Yeah, he is. Rob Gall has fallen off. He's about 1.8 seconds off the back of Wayne Hutchison now, and is being caught by Chad Barker, who's a further 3.1 seconds back after 31. Charles Woods
Hutchinson.
Sorry.
There goes Hutchinson on Hoffman side by side going through 3 and 4. Hutchinson will make the pass stick on exit of 4, so now Hutchinson will get his chance to see what he could do with Bryan Barnes.
Yeah, they did lose a bit of time to the 4 while they were battling, but they can. It looks like they'll be able to get that back pretty easily as they come flying down towards turn 3. As we're about to start lap 145 of 160. And only 16 laps to go here, Frank. This one's got to be Bob Beltrami's to lose at this point.
Yeah, it pretty much is. It's amazing what his car, or what his truck is able to do once those tires get a little bit older and a little bit more worn. He's been able just to drive away from everybody else. It's saving the tires while being the fastest car out on the track. That 14 has been a special ride to drive. I'm sure is a special ride to drive for Beltrami tonight.
Just puts a lap on Keith Kelman there, puts him 1 lap down in this late stage of the race. We are 15 laps to go now here at Dover as they come out of turn 4. And Beltrami will lead him down to the line again. Dennis Fuson still comfortably in second place, but Bryan Barnes starting to feel the heat again as Wayne Hutchison is starting to close that gap between himself and the 4 now.
Yep, just inside of a half a second. The difference between the 4 and the 17 for that 3rd position. And again, I would rather lose a point instead of wrecking and then putting myself back in the teens.
We've just lost Jeff Hollingsworth, sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry about that.
He's it looks like he might have throughput, or he's about to.
Yeah, it hasn't shown anything yet, which is classic sign of throughput.
Yeah, so he's dropping down like a stone. He's actually just gone 2 laps down, so Hollingsworth might be calling it a night here at Dover. Yeah. As Hutchison getting ever closer to that number 4 now. They come out of turn 2.
There it is. Throughput for Hollingsworth.
So you can pretty much call that night done for the 97 now. Well, competitively anyway.
To go.
Yeah. So 11 laps to go here. And now, this is the part of the race where Hutchison is really going to have to put his foot down here if he wants to get by Bryan Barnes. And we've seen from the past, Bryan Barnes is not going to make this easy for Hutchison. But we know Hutchison is going to give it the old college try before this is over, as Dennis Fuson now coming up to the back of Keith Kelman. And that just shows you how big the gap is between Beltrami and Fuson. Fuson is only just getting up to Kelman now, and Beltrami, he's starting to catch to the back, I believe. That is Jeff Schmeier.
There goes Hutchinson for 3rd position. He's going to get it, and Hutchinson's no slouch. He won both Friday night championships last year. So Hutchinson is no slouch when it comes to these races. And Barnes puts it in the wall, trying to swing it out going into turn 3. So that might have just cost him an extra position.
He's just trying to knock that panel straight again. It's fine.
Yeah, okay, fair enough.
Question is now, with less than 10 laps to go, can Hutchison catch Fuson? It's looking unlikely, but there's just under a second between the 11 and the 17. There's still a tiny bit of time.
And there's also a lot of lap cars between the two. So it depends on who catches these lap cars when and where, as Barnes is not letting that 17 of Hutchinson go. He's sort of turned up the wick since he got past. He is right still on the back bumper of that number 17, not letting him get away.
Yes, Fuson just sails by Dustin Burns. And Hutchison actually, during that last lap, he took 0.3 of a second out of the 11. That was probably because Fuson was trying to get around. That was almost a disaster there between Burns and Barnes there.
And that's what we're talking about. Where it's not that you're catching lap cars, it's where you're catching them. And Barnes caught one. That was the 04 of Dustin Burns. Caught him in a really bad spot.
I mean, that's one way to get yourself some TV time.
Yeah, no kidding. As there's Hutchinson and Burns and Hoffman. Now that's turned into quite a trio for that 3rd position, as we got 4 laps to go now.
Yeah, that's fell into the lap of Hoffman here with that incident between Burns and Barnes. As I am quite impressed with Barnes keeping it up there on those after only taking 2 tires during that last caution.
Yeah, and that's a strategy call to try to get him up the field that worked.
Oh, Burns in the wall.
Yeah, he was in the wall coming out of 2 as well on that last lap, so Burns is trying to wreck that 04.
As we're going to go with Beltrami. Oh, look at this gap between Beltrami and Fuson now.
I think I saw something out of the corner of my eye.
Beltrami's hit the wall.
Yep, on that last lap. Yeah, Beltrami is flat in that right front, and now Fuson is in a golden opportunity to win here. Beltrami only has to hold on for another lap and a half.
Yeah, Beltrami gets around 48, or is just in the process of getting around 48, but he's got a heavily damaged truck now. This might, like I said, the big golden opportunity for Fuson to try and get the race win here, but is it too little too late as they cross the line? White flag in the air here at Dover, and Beltrami only has to hold on for 2 more corners after this one, and he will have a race win here at the Monster Mile. He comes towards turn 3. Damage or not, Fuson is not going to catch him as they come out of turn 4. Bob Beltrami will fly out of turn 4. He will win at Dover International Raceway. Or Speedway, I don't know.
It's a dominating performance from the 14. Fuson holds on for second. Wayne Hutchinson holds on for third. So that's going to tighten this points race right up. As if it wasn't tight enough already. We might have a new points leader at it tonight.
We might, but we'll keep our cards close to our chest for now. But for now, let's try and see if we can get some interviews in very quickly as we're waiting for drivers to file in to the Discord server we are in right now. As Frank, we had a few cautions here tonight, but like I said, it was if ever I wanted to go to a track where there's a caution fest, it would be this one.
Yeah, it makes for this wasn't even really a caution fest. This was a nice, solid race, a very good, competitive race all the way through. And Beltrami was just, once he got out to the lead, man, he was just the class of the field.
Yeah, and that will really put him in the window shop for a championship here this season, going for number 7. And you got to think with Barnes with his late race problems, getting passed by Hutchison and putting him back down to P4, he might have the points lead now, does the man from California. So we'll find that out in a second. And we're going to ask him right now, as Frank is with the race winner right now.
Yes, I am. Bob Beltrami, Frank Marchese, ESPN, you got me?
Frank, good to see you. How are you, buddy?
Good. How are you? I'm sure you're doing okay after just a flat-out dominating performance here tonight.
Yeah, I don't quite know what the heck to say. I'm thinking that some of the other guys had some bad luck and ran into some trouble, and I just hit all the stuff right. You know, sometimes it just happens.
It looked as though once your truck got onto older, a little bit more worn tires deeper into the run, your truck just really hooked up. What was it about your truck on older tires that just made it so much better than everybody else tonight?
Oh heck, I don't know. I just I was trying to diamond the corners on entry. You know, get down there, get it really tight, let it come up a little bit on the middle, and then get her back in the gas and diamond her off on the exit. And I think that worked out to give me a little bit of time off of the other guys. And boy, oh boy, by the end, it sure added up.
We saw you got into the wall with a couple laps to go there. What had happened that put you in that spot?
Yeah, doggone it. I was a little bit distracted at that particular moment and allowed my attention to waver, and I got a 2X on the wall. I'm sure glad Dennis didn't run me down because I'd have never heard the end of it.
Yeah, been there, done that. So next week is the New Hampshire Motor Speedway. What are your thoughts going into that? That's a very difficult, flat little track. And possibly having gotten the points lead here tonight, what are your thoughts going into Loudon next week?
Boy, oh boy, that's a good question. You know, Brian and I are so close right now in points. I think I might have gotten a couple off him tonight, maybe 3 or 4 points. So we're awful close. We're within a handful, and boy, with it being flat, New Hampshire is always such a challenge. I know that Brian loves that track, and so do I. We're both looking really forward to winding this down, and we're going to have some fun as this season comes to an end. This is going to be a blast.
Without a doubt. Is anyone you want to thank before we let you go here tonight?
Oh, I definitely want to give a shout out to my wife, Trish. She is so patient with my sim racing hobby. I can't tell you how much I appreciate it. Love you, honey.
All right, there is your race winner, Bob Beltrami. Bob, congratulations, bud.
Thank you, guys.
So that was our race winner, Bob Beltrami. We still haven't had Dennis Fuson make his way up to the broadcast booth yet, but we're going to bring in Wayne Hutchison anyway and get a word with him, and he's going to join me right now. Wayne Hutchison, Sam in the booth. You got a copy? Hello, Wayne.
Hello.
Oh, finally got you. Third place on the night. You had easily one of the fastest trucks out there around here. You seem to really like this place here this week.
Yeah. Dover's a fun track. It's the kind of track where for me, you have to run the bottom and right on the line and put as much throttle as you can because these trucks don't have a lot of horsepower, so you have to keep their foot in the throttle and get them to rotate. And that seemed to work well. And the more the tires wore, the better it got. I could start way back and pick up positions throughout a run. So worked out really well tonight.
Yeah, you tried a bit of tire strategy early on in the race. Didn't quite work out for yourself as you fell back for the field. Were you just trying something out there to see how long the tires last, or were you just hoping for a quick caution there?
No, I stayed out to take the lead and get the bonus point for laps led, and then the truck felt really good, and we were getting some very short runs because we had a spate of yellows there, so I just decided to stay out. But then over time, eventually it caught up with me, and I ended up having to pit. I had a little bit of damage, had to get that repaired, so I ended up dropping to the back of the pack. But with new tires, I was able to come up through the field pretty quickly.
Yeah, and up through the field, you really did make your way up and came up to the podium, getting around quite a few drivers. It's usually notoriously pretty hard to pass around here. What did you do differently to try and make the passing work around here?
What I was doing, and what I didn't see a whole lot of others doing, was lifting early and coasting into the bottom of the corner, and then getting the truck rotated so I could come off the corner really low and get under people. And I think I made most of my passes that way. It wasn't, diving under them going into the corner. It was drag racing them out of the corner to the next, down the straightaway. So, but you had to get the car to rotate so you could come off low. And the trucks were, not loose at all tonight. So you could safely come off the corner low here and not worry about getting loose over the bump or anything. But that was the way to pass for me. Just, let them push up a little bit on exit and just drive underneath them.
All right, looking ahead to next week, we are off to Loudon in New Hampshire. What is your thoughts going to that one? A flat 1 miler. It's a very different dynamic to this one, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, very different. It's a multi-lane track, right? You typically run 2 or 3 grooves up there with the truck, but you can run lower if you need to try and pull off a pass. I love the flat tracks. It's going to be fun. It's going to be hard on tires, but it'll be fun. And I think you'll see some of the same guys that were up front tonight doing well there next week.
All right, and before I let you go and celebrate your third place, anyone you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, just out to my team, Dog Bear here. We got a few guys in this series, and we race in some other series too. And we do a lot of work together, practicing, setup work, racing together, and just make us all better over time. So, shout out to them.
All right, well, congratulations on your third place here. That's Wayne Hutchison in the number 17 Werner's machine. I think it is. Congratulations on your third place here tonight. Well deserved, and we'll see you next week when we head to Loudon.
Okay, thank you. Have a good night.
You too. So that was Wayne Hutchison joining us in the booth. I did see Dennis Fuson pop into Discord for a second, but he very quickly disappeared again. So I'm not sure if we're going to get an interview with him right there, Frank. No, he's just disconnected. No, he just disconnected, so maybe not. We're not going to get an interview with Dennis Fuson, unfortunately. But going back over the race again here, Frank, another brilliant race here from these guys.
Yeah, it was, and it's nice. We were talking about it before we went on air. Just it's when you're running in leagues, typically when the season winds down, guys aren't in with a shout at the championship anymore. You usually see numbers start to dwindle, and that's to be expected. But we saw last week 32 drivers at Michigan. Here we saw 29 guys take the green flag here. So it's nice to see late in the season just these great numbers that we're getting from Western States, and it's really making this racing just even more exciting.
Yeah, 6 cautions on the night here at Dover. We've had let me count it, 8 retirements in this race. So Miles the Monster must not have been that hungry here tonight. So thank goodness for that one. But anyway, we are going to go straight to the results in this race. And coming home with the victory here tonight was one Mr. Bob Beltrami, really closing in that gap on Bryan Barns in the championship chase. Dennis Fuson, who came into this race in 4th in the standings, comes home in 2nd place here tonight. Wayne Hutchison puts on probably the drive of the night here tonight, comes home in 3rd place, and points leader probably not going to be happy with P4, with Paul Hoffman rounding out the top 5 here. Rob Gordon P6, 7th going to Chad Barker, 8th to Carl Burke, last week's winner, 9th is David Woods, and David Weaver getting a top 10 here tonight. Good result for him. P11 going to Eric Woods, Charles Woods in P12, Bentley Glazer probably not going to be happy in P14, P13, and Brandon Prone coming home with a P14 after his early problems here at Dover, Frank.
As it'll be Ray Fournier, the first of the lap down cars, coming home in 15th position. Ron Hollifield in 16th, 17th, going to Keith Kellman, 18th, going to Jeff Schmeier. Marty Ray finishing 2 laps down in 19th. Dustin Burns, 3 laps down in 20th, 6 laps down in 21st for Barry Phil. Jeff Hollingsworth with that throughput late in the race, finishing 15 laps down in 22nd. Jeffrey Scholas finishing in the 23rd position. James Campbell, 24th. Anthony Erskine, 25th. Wayne Fleet, 26th. William Barbagaletta finishing in 27th. Gary Laviolette in 28th. And Dan Stussy rounding out the field in the 29th position.
So that is going to do it for us here at Dover. Another fantastic race with the Western States League. Don't forget, we are back here tomorrow for Sim Racers Edge as they continue their season, their debut season, as we go to the Far East and the land of the rising sun at Twin Ring Motegi. Unfortunately, Frank won't be there for that one, but you will have me and Tony in the booth on the call for that one. So make sure you check that one out as we go IndyCar racing live from 9 p.m. On Thursday, we will have the... Actually, on Thursday, we don't have anything on Thursday, I don't think. I think we've got the Stars.
We have the season finale of Stars, yes.
Yeah, so Stars will be making its final race on Thursday. Friday, we're back with iRacing E-Series. And Saturday, we have a special race at Imola with the E-Formula Series making its return for a pre-season spectacular. And Sunday, we're back with MPI as they go to Auto Club in their Cup Series. But that, for now, is your schedule up until Sunday. But from myself, Sam Cooper Bennett, and from my broadcast partner, Mr. Frank Marchese, all that's left for me to say is Happy Halloween, keep it green, and we will see you tomorrow night live on ESPN from Motegi with that Sim Racers Edge. Have a good night.